So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Eazy Conversations. Thanks a lot to everyone who listened to the last episode featuring the homies Matt, Curtis, and I. Curtis, you absolutely killed it on here, and we look forward to having you on again down the road. So now for episode 182 of Eazy Conversations, I'm extremely excited, of course, to be back in the studio virtually with the homie Matt. So what's up with the people?
What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great day right now. I know I am. I'm excited for two big reasons, Eric. One, we're going to be talking about a show that I really love. I'm just going to say that out there. But two, you sprung this at the last minute on me, but that we have a surprise guest on right now that I didn't know about. So I'm super excited for this. Eric, why don't you let everyone know who we have on the episode?
Absolutely. I'm extremely excited to be welcomed back on the pod now. Third time making her appearance. Always love when she agrees to come on the pod after I asked her once or twice, and she's going to be our attending for tonight's episode as a registered nurse. She knows the most about the show that we're going to discuss. So without further ado, my amazing wife, Andy Leroux. Say what's up to the people.
Hi everybody, it's always good to be back, even though I said I'd only do one episode. I'm back again. I'm excited for the Pitt. I really loved it, and I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah, no, we're super happy to have you on. And yeah, so we're going to be talking about the latest Crave smash show that's kind of taken the internet and TV waves by storm, which is the Pitt, of course, medical drama that has been an instant hit, honestly, since it premiered last year in January 2025. Rolled out its second season, wasting no time, already confirmed for a third. So we're going to be going over the show, getting into full spoilers, of course. And so I thought a good spot to start, as we normally do with these kind of recaps, is Andy, what were your opening thoughts? What are your opening thoughts on the show, The Pitt, after 2 seasons?
Yeah, I really like the show. It's one of the best shows I've seen in a really long time. It's obviously right up my alley, so maybe I'm a little biased, but I really enjoyed season 1 and 2. I enjoyed the format and just how they included everybody in the story, like the multidisciplinary team there. Like you see from the top, the administration, the doctors, the nurses.
Yeah, no, definitely a good representation for all layers and levels of healthcare staff for sure. Matt, what about yourself? Opening thoughts through 2 seasons on the Pitt?
My opening thoughts on the show is that I love it. I never thought I'd like this show when I first heard of it, gave it a chance. What attracted me, what drew me into it and got me hooked was the format of the show and the characters. I felt like I was at work with them the whole time watching these 2 seasons, and that's what appealed to me. I felt like I was working in a hospital, by proxy, first person point of view. So it's a really thrilling show to me, and one that I never thought I'd like this much. I've never been a medical drama guy, but I really love the format and the characters. That's the show to me in a nutshell. What about you, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be 3 for 3 here across the board. Unique format in that every episode is an hour of these folks' shift. And then, so many characters is kind of what at first I found kind of overwhelming, in that there's so many characters. I wasn't even sure what their names were for half of them. But by the end of the first season, you kind of really get attached to these characters. It was a lot of fun to kind of grow and go through their shift with them. Like you both said, you feel like you're in the trenches with them. It's really cool. I compared it a few episodes ago, I want to say, to like The Sopranos, where you're just hanging out with these characters, obviously in a completely different setting and context, but it's just fun to see them go through what they do. And not a medical show guy myself at all, but this one kind of won me over.
Yeah, I think that's kind of by design, right? It's a bit overwhelming at first. There's a lot of characters, there's a lot going on, but that's exactly how it is in the emergency department.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a great point, in that like it just throws you in that environment as a viewer. Even it's overwhelming, and you feel like, oh my god, like is this what it is like on a daily basis? They do a great job at showing the trauma that the patients go through and the staff, and how it's like 1 hour after the next. There is never there. I don't think there's ever an episode there's some downtime where these characters are just chilling and
no time off.
No time.
Breaks.
No breaks. No time to go to the washroom or even catch up on their charting. Like that's a big thing that I'm sure you can agree on. That like is something that I guess you.
Yeah, it's something that takes the back burner there when you have a busy day for sure. It's not your priority.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, on the topic of the formatting, Matt, do you want to kick us off on just like what makes this so special and why it works so well for this show?
Well, it works so well because I think as a fan of, like, I think a lot of TV and movie goers like seeing, like, movies or TV shows that take place in one day. And, like, this whole season is one day of their work shift, and every hour is an episode. And we saw that format in 24 years ago with Kiefer Sutherland. That was the exact same thing, one whole day in his life, and it's an awesome. They duplicated again for the Pitt. What I like about it is it doesn't jump around a lot. You're literally following their hour for the episode, and it takes its time in that sense that you're not jumping around too much, like, okay, the next day or like 8 hours later we get the result for this. Sometimes it takes 8-9 episodes to find out what happened to this patient in episode 2. With this show rewards, if you wait and binge it all at once, I find it's better to watch it that way because it's less confusing. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, what happened in episode 1 or 2? I watched it every week, Eric, and Andy, so like I got sometimes mixed up that way. In season 1, I binged watched, so I didn't get mixed up in that sense. But what I like about it is the attention to detail this format allows, basically, having every hour of their shift. There's a lot of detail in that sense. So that's why I like the format. What about yourself, Andy?
Yeah, I liked it. I found that it could be risky, right? Like there's some like character developments or character stories that can't really evolve as much. But I think it kind of worked out in the end. Like, it's okay that not everything gets resolved in one season, right? Mm-hmm. Just like thinking about like the Santos and Langdon story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, or Robbie and Langdon, like we're kind of waiting the whole season for a confrontation, but then you remember, oh, it's just one day, so it's okay.
Exactly, and like that's what is a weakness. Like, I think more a strength, but in a sense it could be seen as a weakness. But I like that they kind of make it realistic in that sense that there's only so much that can happen in one day's worth of work, and then to get that true character development and have those conversations where, like, if we're talking about like Langdon Santos drama, which is has been consistent both seasons. In season 2, I kind of like that they didn't give us a full-on resolution of, okay, now we're going to be buddy-buddy, and we're all good. It's like, no, you know what? You didn't treat me well at all in season 1. Maybe you're on the path to restoring yourself and your image and everything there, but I still don't mess with you. And I'm glad that they didn't wrap that up in the finale to say, it's all good now, and it makes for a more realistic approach where, like, you're only gonna have so many of these intense conversations with your coworkers in a day, right?
Yeah.
These things.
And then they really focused on the medical cases, right? Mm-hmm. So that was nice, a good part of it. And for the writers, this is gold, right? Because they could do 20 seasons of this, right? One day, like, sure.
Big time.
Yeah, good point. Before we continue, like, with the characters and stuff, I really want to know, Andy, you being a nurse, like, how accurate is this show? Like, is it super exaggerated? Is it fairly accurate? Did you see stuff that, like, gives you goosebumps because you're like, oh my God, that's exactly what happened one day at my work? Like, can you speak on this, Andy?
Yeah, so I don't work in the ED, just to preface this, but I do some work in the ED, if that makes sense. Anyways, it's definitely a very, very busy day. I don't think it's realistic that all these high acute cases in one day. I also don't think it's realistic how fast that they resolve, if that makes sense, right? Like, it's still one day, right? So the fact that everybody's cured and good and most cases have a resolution in the one day is also unrealistic. But in terms of the medical cases themselves, I really liked it. I thought it was a lot of them were really, really accurate in my eyes. I love to kind of guess the diagnosis as it was happening.
Cool.
That was fun for
crushing
me.
them.
A couple of maybe minor little things where like, oh, they should be wearing a mask right now. But, I can get over that.
Yeah.
A lot of hand hygiene, hand washing, which was funny to see. Dr. Robbie was like notorious for that, but very accurate.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like, sorry, go ahead, Matt.
No, just that's awesome. I like to hear this stuff.
Yeah, the mask, it must be just so they can get their lines across, right? Like, it must be that.
But then sometimes they were wearing their masks.
It's
I'm
true.
like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
But a lot of sterile procedures. I'm like, yeah, you should be wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm. And another thing too, which I think we've talked about, but whenever there are these procedures and like they have to intubate, for example, like, and then the spouse is in the room with them, like that's not realistic as well, right? Like that you wouldn't have the immediate spouse or partner there or the kid even in some cases.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like I've seen it. The family is always there, but then you have to know when to kind of escort them out.
Mm-hmm.
It's happened to us. I'm a dialysis nurse, and we had a patient not doing well. We had to take the family members out of the room into the waiting room so that we could do what we needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, it is realistic that they're there.
Yeah.
You just need to go.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say. So this is like this day that they're showing us in season 1 and 2 is the total extreme. Like, I mean, both days I think are set on holidays or a catastrophic event happens in the city of Pittsburgh on these 2 days. So we have the extreme. But that was very insightful, and I like hearing stuff like that, like how close it is to real life. The nurses are. They don't take a backseat to the doctors in this show. Like, you kind of see a lot of nurse action, which I love to see, because I'm betting, like, sometimes the doctors get all the glory, but the nurse did 90% of the work, right? Like, is that the case, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, it's a team thing, right? Like, the doctors are
Right.
not our bosses, they're our coworkers, and so we all work as a team. I know that the doctors in my department work really close with the charge, and then obviously with us when we need them if a patient's not doing well. But yeah.
I was gonna say, I feel like the nurses, I agree, they don't take a back seat, but overall though, this show focuses on the doctors, and I like that in season 2 they introduced the Emma character, like that's now a new nurse in the picture.
Yeah.
We have Princess and Perla.
They're great.
Great characters.
Yeah.
So I gotta
They
love
are.
them. Donnie as well as the nurse practitioner, and then there are a few other characters who I don't know their names, and I don't really think they have many lines. They're more on the supporting side of things. I feel like they could afford to have even more nurses be represent a little, maybe like 1 or 2 extra ones as well, because I do find it's overwhelmingly. Sometimes there's like 4 or 5 doctors on one procedure, which seems excessive.
Yeah, honestly,
It's true.
Sometimes I work in like we dialyze in the ER, and I'm like, there are a lot of doctors in the pit. Like, I don't see that many out here. And especially like they're out there, they're transferring patients and doing all this physical work. I'm like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
It seems more like
Okay.
PSW nurse work, but I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
so-
sure, the doctors are the forefront right there. You're right. The doctors are the highlight. Do you want to jump into the characters, Eric, or do you have something?
Well, I was just going to say, so while we're on the topic of nurses, and we haven't touched on this character yet, who is the face of all the nurses, is charge nurse Dana, what are your thoughts on her, like her portrayal of a charge nurse and just embodying the nursing experience in the pit?
Oh yeah, she's excellent. I feel like great charge nurse, especially for the ER. You know, it's kind of the zoo out there, so you need somebody who's like strong, you know, confident, and is a good leader. And she also has compassion, which we see throughout the season. So I think she's 10 for 10. Dana.
Nice. Yeah, no,
I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Dana is
Go ahead,
one of the best, if not arguably the best character in the show, in my opinion. I feel like as we do get into the characters, I find like I've liked her, not progression because she's been consistent the whole time, but she only keeps getting better, I find, with more situations that she gets placed in and having to make decisions. And one of her greatest strengths is she doesn't take shit, basically, and she stands up for her people as well, which we saw that a lot in this season 2 with how she kind of took Emma under her wing, stood up for her when she got assaulted by that drunk golfer, cocaine
alcohol
bear.
mix.
Yeah, exactly. That was brutal. So I like to see the action that she took where we didn't get to necessarily see it on the screen. We can put 2 and 2 together and imagine what that looked like, and Dana definitely showed him the business there. So no, I think she's one of the strongest, if not strongest, characters. What are your thoughts on her as a character, Matt?
I think she's one of the strongest characters too. I love the actress does a great job. I love her humor and then her directness, like back to business. That switch and her and Robbie's banter is great. She like chirps you, but like in a loving, friendly way too. Sometimes I love how she doesn't take crap from anybody. I was devastated in season 1 when she gets punched in the head, like in the face by that mental guy waiting in the waiting room the whole time. Like that was devastating, and you could see the frustration right after. She's like, I just want to go home. Like I can't relate to getting hit at work, but like I can relate to being just disgusted with like where I am right now at work. I'm just wanting to go home, and I'm thinking of my retail days at Farm Boy. Just like I'm done with this. And she has a couple of those moments, but she bounces back. She is super strong too, and even in season 2 when she gives the cops shit for not grabbing the kits right away, like within 24 or 48 hours, I'm not sure, but like telling cops off and paramedics, like she's awesome. And I guess charge nurses have to have a strong backbone or they're not going to be as effective in their jobs. So no, Dana is one of my favorite characters.
Nice. Anything else on Dana, or good to go on to the next? So I mean, the other obvious big dog to talk about in this show would be our attending, the main character, Dr. Rabinovich, Dr. Robbie. He's I find his character is really interesting in that, like we've already said, these are just 2 days we've spent with these characters, but in that time they've given us a lot without spoon feeding us everything too. Like they're leaving a lot up to the imagination, and you just have to read between the lines. Robbie is a disturbed character, and he is not a perfect protagonist. I found in season 1 he had his doctor's back, whereas in season 2 he was a little more on the irritable side, kind of giving it to many of his residents and doctors, and is battling demons. But I find that super interesting. Like I like that he's not this clean-cut good guy Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead. Like show us a bit of darkness here. We need that. Thoughts on Robbie in general? How, like, where his character's going? What are you looking at, Andy?
Yeah, very likable in season 1. But yeah, it took a turn in season 2 for sure. But we kind of get to understand why, because it looks like he's dealing with some PTSD from some unknown past event. We see little snippets here and there, but we don't get the full background on that. He didn't treat his staff as good this season 2. A moment that comes to me is with Dr. Mohan, kind of telling her off, saying that she should she should go into geriatrics. So like, oh. And just when she's having a panic attack, telling her to go home. We need people who are fit and ready.
Yeah, that scene was brutal. Your mommy issues? You can't... Like, that was, like, out of left field, I thought. I was like, Jesus, Rabinovich. Like, show a bit of empathy here.
Yeah, no compassion.
No compassion. And he had shown in the past, I found that he said, like, it's good to support each other and be there. When we lose a patient, we all get together and remember this. Even earlier in the season, he had shown that. But, yeah, so didn't love seeing all that. But it is, like I said as well, I think adds to the complexity of his character, and looking forward to, we'll get into predictions later, but Matt, thoughts on Dr. Robbie for yourself?
All right, well, I have a lot to say here, so bear with me, guys. Noah Wiley, I didn't know who this actor was till The Pitt came out, and I thought he was great in season 1 as Robbie. And before I get into the Robbie character, I just want to say I went on Netflix and watched. I'm on season 2 now of ER, the show Noah Wiley started on. So Noah Wiley was on ER for 15 years, guys, playing Dr. Carter. And in ER, he's kind of a buffoon at first, like in the early seasons. He's the medical student, and he's clean cut, and he's kind of wooden but funny, and completely different from his character on The Pitt. And I know The Pitt is inspired. Like, they wanted to do it almost, their first thought was an ER continuation. So Noah Wiley was supposed to be Dr. Carter, but they didn't get the permission from the Michael Crichton estate because he helped co-wrote ER. Anyways, they couldn't do an ER continuation, so he created a new character, Dr. Robbie, Michael Rabinovich, which I find so fascinating because the two doctors he's playing are totally different. And so in The Pitt, Robbie he's super confident and knowledgeable. I like that doesn't always wait around and makes a decision right away, like in season 1 where Dr. Collins, there's a moment where Dr. Collins not really a fan of like him making a decision right away, and he should have waited, but then he ended up being right. So I like that he's very confident and just makes the executive decision. And season 1, Robbie is very different from season 2. I like him in both seasons, but season 1 he was kind of a badass. Like, I know every diagnosis and I can handle everything, until the shooting at the music festival with his stepson and Sally, the girlfriend. That was heartbreaking. Season 2, Robbie, guys, that was like, to me, that was the most interesting part of the season, because, Eric, you nailed it. They don't spoon feed you what's going on with them, but you're finding out clues the more and more it goes along, and it gets really dark, right? And the destination we end up with in season 2 with Robbie, I loved. There was some very emotional scenes there, especially with his buddy, like the biker. Some good stuff there. But overall, like, Robbie, to me, is way more of a complex character now, and I think Noah Wiley does an amazing job as Dr. Robbie, and I love seeing him on screen. Even if he's acting like an asshole in season 2, it's still very interesting to watch, and it's just great television. He's just a great character, and I'm going to stop talking for 5 minutes now, but I love Dr. Robbie. He's my favorite character for sure.
Love that. Super interesting, though, that I love that you're watching ER as well, and maybe, like, this is good lore to know about him as an actor, and maybe even in the Pit at one point it'll go, in another life I was known as Dr. Carter, and then it all comes together that it actually is a prequel, despite the no greenlit from Michael Crichton. Who knows? We'll see what happens there.
I'm sure he's regretting that now.
Yeah, big time, right? Like,
I think everything happens for a reason, right? So
that's true. Yeah. So I mean, he's found his way as Rabinovich too. I of course know of ER and that he was got his success through that show there, but he found a second breath of life with the Pit, and all the whole season was kind of building up towards him going away on his motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
What did you guys think about that in terms of, like, did you think the season was going to end with him? Like, what was your initial call as we were watching the show week to week? Like, what did you think was going to happen with Robbie as he kept talking about this promise of going on this trip? What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah, my call was that he was going to go on this trip and then get really badly hurt and then come back and be a patient in their ER.
That would have been great.
Oh,
would have loved
interesting.
That. I love that call when you had that earlier as the season was going. That would have been good. And
because they kept talking about how he's gonna get hurt, it's not a good idea. He's gonna leave right after the shift after he's worked 12 plus hours. I was like,
right.
Okay.
Like, I personally didn't really have a call. It was more like I was kind of skeptical that he would go on the trip, but I did like that he could even die on the trip. Like, that would have been great. And then it's like no more Robbie in the show, which would have been a huge shock. Like, that's a rebrand and a half after 2 seasons that he's the driving force. But I didn't see what they ended up doing coming at all. I feel like that would have been hard to predict. But did you have any thoughts, Matt, in terms of where this was going and what was going to happen with him as you were watching the show?
No, at first I thought it was an innocent sabbatical turning into maybe him just ditching the profession. And then as the episodes go along, I'm like, okay, it's maybe suicidal, like a Thelma and Louise style, riding off a cliff. But like you can tell he bounced back at the end. Like that last episode, like, he's not going to do anything crazy. I mean, the show's been renewed for season 3. The show can't exist without him, in my opinion. He writes the show. He created the show. He's going to be in every season and every episode, is my call. So, but no, like, it got dark fast. Like, a couple episodes, and you're like, oh, like, this place is destroying him, but then he can't live without it. There was a line in the show where, like, the Robbie versus Langdon throughout the season, where it's like, he's not disappointed in you, Langdon. He's disappointed that he failed you, that Langdon resorted to drugs, and Robbie takes that upon himself. I think maybe Dr. Abbott tells him that, or somebody else, but no, Robbie's very emotional, and I think he got enough sense in him in the last few episodes that he's not going to do anything crazy. He might just cut his motorcycle trip short and then be back for season 2. But I didn't predict all this dark stuff early on in the season.
I love, honestly, when Robbie gets emotional with him, honestly, because he does present himself as this, like you said, know-it-all, like has the answer to every case for the most part, cool in control, but he's fighting for his life to stay in control, and that's what's so important to him. Is like, I have to be in control, because if I'm not, then I'm going to be swallowed by chaos and darkness. And I love that line from Abbott, you got to dance in the darkness, brother. Abbott, the man. I don't know how much time we're going to spend on his character, just have to say, love his character. A good friend to Rob, man. Robbie just needs friends out here. Like, what are you doing cutting ties with Langdon? Like, you need boys, my guy. Like,
you need people in your corner.
Big time. So, and that's the thing. He kind of maybe just pushes people, keeps them at a distance, doesn't want to get close to anybody, because of also what happened with his ex-wife, who he had started to get close with her son, despite the fact that they're not together. And then his son, her son did not appear in this season, so clearly they're not even talking anymore. So you just kind of see that there's a lot of loss and holes in Robbie's life. And ultimately, I guess this is a season 3 prediction in a sense, but the sense that we got watching it was that Robbie is going to adopt baby Jane Doe in the end, and like that's kind of going to be his new like purpose, is I'm a father now, to be there for this little baby that doesn't have a parent. So yeah,
interesting. He does a lot of acting with his eyes too, like Noah Wiley. Like, his expression sometimes is more than dialogue, like is better than the dialogue, because we can see like the grief in his face, and the he cares so much, but he's very chill at times, but he's also doesn't let anyone get close. Like, he's got his guard up too, but I don't know. He's a fascinating character. Interactions with the biker patient, the guy, the mechanic, I really like, because that guy like calls him out a bunch of times, and it's great. Same with Dr. Abbott, he calls him out because he's known him for a while. Like, when Robbie's like, well, you get your kicks from going out and like getting bullets like fired at you. I have other ways. Like, I don't know. And going on a motorcycle after a 15-hour shift is crazy. I like how both seasons like end up working 3 extra hours. Is always a catastrophe, but like season 1 opens up, we meet our medical students, and I feel like we're the medical student too. Like, we navigate the season through them a little bit, and we're a bit new to it. And Whitaker, Santos, and Giavatti are kind of them at first, but then like to see their progression in season 2 is really sweet in my opinion. Do we want to jump into our 3 medical students? Like, what are you guys, who do you like the most? Who do you like the least? Stuff like that.
I like that call. I just want to say, like, we're watching season 1. Well, you and I, Matt, Andy knew what they were talking about. We're just overwhelmed hearing all this medical jargon. And then in season 2, we're like, okay, he's I even forgot this. He's
hemodynamically stable.
Damn it, hemodynamically stable, bilaterally stable, whatever. Anyway, so they're just throwing these terms out there. Let's intubate. Get them. Whatever.
What did you say? Intubate the other day?
I don't know. Incubate. Anyway, I'm still learning. Maybe by season 17, I'll have it down. But no, so medical students, you want to kick us off? Like, the first 3 were introduced to Santos, Giavatti, and Fuckleberry, Whitaker. So thoughts on those 3? Like, I don't know if we want to go individually on all of them, but just who's your favorite of the 3?
Yeah, I really like Whitaker? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Clearly I don't like him that much. No, Whitaker, he's just like, he just has this innocence to him, like, yeah. No, he was just like, he just has this innocence to him, just lighthearted, happy-go-lucky. He seems to be just happy to be there, right? So it's always nice to see. One scene that comes to mind is when he gets that Uber for that lady, I think in the last episode, and then gets screwed over because he gets an extra like charges for her throwing up and yelling. Yeah, it was just kind of classic his luck. But
big time.
Yeah, he was probably my favorite.
And that was great for Whitaker too, in that in season 1 he was getting shit on literally every episode. It felt like. And then in season two, he kind of got away from that. He was almost the man in a lot of cases, honestly. He didn't really mess up in season two, but still same old Whittaker getting screwed by the innocent looking old lady in the end. So I like that for his character. But no, I think Whittaker is, well, I don't know about you, Matt, but me too. Whittaker's for sure my favorite of the three, but just to maybe pick on someone else, I'll go the Santos route in that, like, I don't like her. She's obviously a polarizing character. She stirs shit up. And in the words of Garcia in season one, like, oh, you're trouble. She's trouble. Like, I found it a little unrealistic that on her first day, she's calling out Langdon for accusing him of stealing drugs. Like, she ended up being right, but I found that to be a little much. But overall, Santos is a good character for the show in that she does bring some humor. She's sarcastic. She's still a very competent doctor and is involved in the drama. So that's where she adds a lot of value to the show. Like I said, she's not my favorite character, far from it, honestly. But there are also layers to her character in that, like, there's a reason she acts like this. Like, she's not choosing to be mean to everybody just because. Like, that's probably a defense mechanism. I think they've been hinting at she has her own past trauma of, like, abuse, possibly. Like, that's kind of the sense I'm getting with her. And then you compare her to the woman she's trying to have a relationship with, Garcia. Santos, a goddamn saint compared to that woman.
Goodness, is she ever? Garcia's like, holy.
She might be the worst character, like, as in the worst person in this show. Like, she's just cold-blooded, will stick a knife through your heart and then operate on you and save your life. But she's just a ruthless character. So yeah, that's my take on Santos. Matt, I know I kind of by default left you Javadi, but anyone of the three who's your favorite? Because Whittaker's my favorite as well.
Yeah, I'll definitely talk about Javadi. Whittaker is my favorite, though, guys, as well. No good deed goes unpunished, with the Uber. And his first day, I think we've all had relatable experiences where everything goes wrong that day, and that's Whittaker in season one. You nailed Santos. I don't have to talk about her, but there's definitely something in her past that she's already, like, on the lookout for she has, like, a spidey sense for some stuff, and she's right most often in the show. She has, like, facial expressions that you just get replicated every episode, like when she's annoyed and when she has to do her charting. It's kind of funny. It's like a meme almost now. But Javadi, the golden prodigy, she's super young. Both her parents are medical, like, professionals in their field, super high expectations. I like her character. At first, like, she's unsure and she faints in the first season, but then she grows and she is smart. She has to build confidence. I like the little Javadi Ogilvy rivalry in season 2 a little bit. That was fun to watch. No, I don't mind her character at all. I like all three medical students. Whittaker being my favorite. The Whittaker Santos thing too at the end of season 1 is very charming. Like, yeah, you can stay at my place. That brought a smile to my face.
That humanized Santos a little bit, right? To hear that,
right.
You do have a heart.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, good point.
I think this season there were a lot of moments that were human. Like, I think that's what they're building towards, is starting to humanize Santos, because in this season she still acts the same way, but you see little cracks beneath the armor, and that she is a person at the end of the day, right? So I'm seeing a redemption arc for her character that was teased in this season, and we'll see further in the next few. Ogilvy and Javadi rivalry, I like. What are your thoughts on the Ogilvy character, Andy?
Yeah, I honestly, he came off a little bit annoying. Just like know-it-all, always putting his 2 cents in. So yeah, for me it was getting a little tiresome, but I was Team Javadi.
Of course. But it was nice. Like, I found with Ogilvy, though, he did get humbled quite a few times. And in the end, he also was kind of humanized. Like, he had his Santos moment where, he's just while annoying, and I found too much as well. Like, he's jumping in there, like, giving diagnoses and, like, recommendations and stuff. It's like, all right, just stay in your lane, fella. But in the end, you saw how broken he was from this shift.
I also want to say that that's probably typical of medical students, right? They're so smart. They've been the smartest in their class their entire lives, almost like a hockey player. And then they get to the NHL, and then you're playing with the big dogs, and you're like, okay, I'm not that good.
That's good.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, especially as a first-year medical student, like, it's like, all right, you got to know your place, dude.
Didn't see the jump from the OHL to the NHL Ogilvy comparison coming, but I love it.
Yeah.
Maybe he saw stuff on paper a lot, like he knew everything, but then actually seeing it puts a different perspective on things, right? And at the end, he's, covered in blood outside in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So he starts off on a high, and then like he gets down to reality, which I like that arc a lot. There's a lot of the other doctors I like too. McKay and King, Dr. King, Dr. McKay. Those are two great doctors. Dr. King is very obviously. By the way, played by Bryan Cranston's daughter, which I didn't know that, but that's awesome. Dr. Mel King, she's very like, how do I say? Like, she's obviously has some sort of neurodivergency. Like, she's super smart, but she doesn't necessarily deal with like she's upset by the court case in season 2. Like, that's thrown her whole day out the window. Like, her mind's like. Distracted, but she's super smart. She's very clinical about her approach, right? She's almost too, like, she has less emotions and compassion, but she's very direct with patients in a clinical way. But then she cares a lot about her sister, which I thought it was very humanistic and emotional, like realizing that her sister doesn't need her as much as she thinks, and like she can do things on her own. That was cool to see. I like the little snippets we got with Dr. King throughout the first 2 seasons. Not too much of her, not, just the right amount of Dr. King, in my opinion. What are your guys' thoughts?
King.
Yeah.
Me. So, King, I liked her, honestly, from the start. I feel like, because I think it was also her first day in the pit in season 1, so she was kind of coming in with our students, but is older, more experienced, and was kind of a star right away. Even Robbie kept being very complimentary towards her. And in season 2, she does struggle a little more with, I think, her identity in that, like you said, Matt, her sister doesn't need her as much anymore, and she's having a hard time in court. So she's going through it a little bit. You don't like to see that, right? I like her dynamic with, we haven't really talked about him yet, that we will, but Langdon, like, they have a kind of an instant brother-sister bond, you could say. And King had a funny moment with like her sister again I think she was talking to Dana, and she was just kind of realizing, my sister doesn't need me. I've watched Elf 156 times. It was pretty funny. They're just talking about how like I've sacrificed a lot for my sister, and now she's kind of just leaving me in the dust because she's got a man's now, So it's hate to see that, but that's a reality that you see, and she's struggling to cope with now. Like, what's her identity? And I feel like maybe, I got the sense anyways, that she feels like, wow, like my sister found someone and I'm alone. Like, that's kind of a vibe I got.
Okay.
Did you get that as well from her? Or
No.
Too much into it?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Me neither. That's a good call, Eric. That's a really good call. I didn't even think of that.
For me, it just seemed like she was taking it as a loss, right? Like, oh, I've lost. I've invested so much time, energy into my relationship with my sister and taking care of her, and now she doesn't need me anymore. It's almost like an identity thing.
Yeah. Which you hope for her sake that in season 3 maybe she's come to terms with a new dynamic with her sister, and that she's not as dependent of me, and that's ultimately a good thing, right? Like, objectively, her sister being more independent, getting UTIs with her new boyfriend is obviously not something you want to see, but it's like, she's flying solo, and that's good overall, but it's hard for the older sister to stomach. But in this season, McKay, who I was a big fan of in season 1, took a back seat. I found she wasn't as central. What are your thoughts on McKay and like her character so far through the seasons, Andy?
Yeah, she had a big storyline in season 1 there with her ex-husband and her son and the girlfriend, and then we saw her with the ankle monitor. More elaborate story. Why did she have the ankle monitor again? Did we get
I forget the reason why she had the ankle monitor. I forget, honestly. I don't know about you, Matt, but Don't recall. I feel like the takeaway was that she had the ankle monitor. She did get in a bit of trouble because of it as well.
Yeah.
She was kind of also mentoring Javadi in season 1 too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was nice to see.
Yeah, so good dynamic there. She's cool. Like, I like McKay.
Yeah,
personally.
she was like more relatable, I could say. Like, she didn't seem like a nerd, like da 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 da. You know what I mean? It just kind of seemed like, oh, this is kind of my second career, and I just kind of ended up here, and I like it. And, yeah,
she's almost like, you could maybe say, like the female Robbie in a sense. Like, pretty cool, easy to talk to, and has the respect of her peers, and people value her input. I found, like, maybe that's a comp you could throw out there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well said, Eric. Like, McKay is flawed, just like Langdon and Robbie, and that's why I like her a lot. She's sober X amount of years. She's raising a child by herself. Played by Fiona Dourif, too. Like, she's a great actress. She's Brad Dourif's daughter, Brad Dourif from Lord of the Rings and a million other things. He even plays in season 1, he plays her dad. So her dad plays her dad in the show as well, so it's kind of cool to see.
Who is this person, and who does he play in Lord of the Rings?
Wormtongue.
Oh my God! Okay,
Brad
I'd have to
Dourif.
read. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
he made an appearance in season 1.
So.
Yeah, he was her dad in the show, and he's her dad in real life, so it's kind of cool.
That's cool.
Didn't even recognize
But Brad
him.
Dourif, he's been in a million movies. He's the voice of Chucky the horror icon, the doll. Anyways, Fiona Dourif does a great job as McKay. I like that she's flawed. I like that she's very compassionate with her patients. She takes her time. She's not rushing. She has a spidey sense, too, with certain, like, red flags with, maybe, like, abuse cases, which we see in the show. So does Santos. She has that little red flag spidey sense as well. But, McKay is a great character. I agree she takes a back seat in season 2. But, guys, there's so many characters. Like, who do you give the spotlight to in this episode? What do you do? There's too much to juggle around. So, I think they did a good job regardless. But, yeah, I'm a big fan of McKay.
Yeah, we could literally be here all night talking about all these characters. I do want to just go over Langdon before we maybe move on to some themes they cover in the show. But to your point, though, about how there's only so much time for all these characters, and there's a ton of them. I kind of like that a lot of them are just thrown in there. You hardly even know their names, but you see them, you're like, oh, I like that girl, love that guy, like that's my girl, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so many characters who all contribute in their own little way, and all have an impact without needing an excessive amount of screen time. They do a great job in that with the Pitt. And I find that's exemplified really well with the night crew coming in, where we don't even know half these people's names, but they step in and do an excellent job.
Yeah, the night crew's unreal, honestly.
Big time. Are we going to see a night shift season at some point?
I would love that. The night shift's a different beast.
Yeah.
It would be cool.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to talk about what that could look like in terms of why it's a different beast?
Normally, you're like shorter staffed, right? Like, it's kind of like, I know that in the ED they run less doctors, less staff. So. And also just like, people out late night at the bar, whatever happens there. Maybe more drunken or like substance use that gets people into trouble.
Yeah, so that would be a way to stay consistent with the theme they've had of like showing the violence in the workplace as well too, that the nurses and doctors deal with. So I mean, I could see it honestly. If you maybe start off this season as like, I don't know, the beginning of a night shift or halfway through a night shift, and then the day shift comes in kind of thing. So you kind of do get your best of both worlds, and you get the majority of the season maybe with your day crew still. Something to look into. But yeah, last character, Langdon. Matt, I'll throw it over to you first to introduce this character. What are your thoughts on the Langdon character?
Truthfully, my thoughts on Langdon, like I think he's a great character. I'm a big fan of Langdon because I'm a big fan of flawed characters that like acknowledge their problems and bounce back, a la Boromir in Lord of the Rings, another Lord of the Rings reference here. Langdon, to me, he's a flawed character, but then he admits he's wrong and he bounces back in season 2 and he tries to make amends. But he's a very smart doctor. He works well with others. He has a rivalry with Santos in season 1 and in season 2, and then in season 2 as well, he's trying to like talk to Robbie the whole time, have a conversation with him, and Robbie wants nothing to do with it. Then they have their little chat at the end, which wasn't as intense as I thought. I thought it was going to be this big blow up, like this big blow up. But you know, we have we have in the next season maybe for that. But no, big fan of Langdon. I like him in action, like doing the procedures and not operations, but like doing the small things he needs to do, like when he helped that guy. When he spur of the moment saved that guy by like moving his neck in season 2, I'm not too familiar with the medical terms, but he did something really risky and it worked basically, and people gave him props for that. Yeah, I like that he's kind of a mini Robbie. Like he's smart, he's decisive. So big fan of Langdon. What about you, Andy?
Yeah,
Rob,
yeah,
me first.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm a same boat as you, Matt. I'm a big Langdon guy for honestly the majority of the reasons you listed too. Trying to think of what else to add here. Honestly, you kind of covered everything there. But Langdon, I'll just go off your last point of the blow with Robbie. That's a moment I think all viewers were looking forward to having all season when it came to Langdon and Robbie. And that's what the Pitt, it kind of always leaves you out. Yes, they give us so many cases. That's the bulk of the show. You do want to have those character interactions between these characters that we like and sometimes don't like. That was one that we're all looking forward to. Now, I feel like a lesser show would have really given us a ton of dialogue scenes between Robbie and Langdon and maybe a full-on resolution to it where you end season 2 with, all right, we're cool now. Because you know that's where it's headed. Like, Langdon and Robbie are going to be boys again. Like, that's a call. That's going to happen. But this did not give us that. It gave us the, hey, I'm owning up to my shit. It's time you do the same as well. And like I'm giving it to you a little bit more than asking for forgiveness because I've done that. You've not really given me what I'm looking for. Now I'm going to give you a little reality check. I'm doing the work. It's time you do as well. And I loved that scene. I thought it was such a powerful moment for Langdon. And you hope a moment of realization for Robbie that we see in season 3. That's my take on Langdon, where we're at with him. I'm a big fan of the character, though. I love his downfall was rough to watch in season 1.
And it's the Langdon redemption arc in season 2. And I was skeptical, honestly, but as the season went on, and you know, at the end, you're starting to get back pain, and you were like, like, is he gonna relapse? You know, like, ooh. But I think he took Tylenol, maybe.
That scene terrified me. When I saw him with the ball, I'm like, no, what are you doing, my guy? But,
yeah. You had us there for a minute.
Oh, if hook, line, and sinker fell for it.
Yeah, but I think it ended well with his talk with Robbie and just airing out his grievances and calling him out on his stuff, right? You got to be able to, if you're going to dish it, you got to be able to take it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well said.
Yeah, very well said.
And someone accuses Robbie of that, like, you're dishing out all this advice, but you don't listen to any of it yourself.
Yeah.
Like, do as I say, not as I do. That's a very good point. It was also humiliating for Langdon when he had to pee in a cup and the guy's just staring at him. Like, I was so human. I was secondhand embarrassment there.
Eric felt the same.
I felt
in
human.
The moment.
Yeah.
That was
look away.
Yeah, 100%. That was brutal. Well, his line to the guy was pretty funny. Did he say, "Do you come here often?" or something like that? I don't know. He said something to him.
You're right.
Yeah. Oh my god, that scene was brutal. But no, I really like what they did with Langdon, honestly. He's definitely someone you easily could have just not liked. Like, Andy, I don't think you weren't a big fan of him in season 1, right?
No, not
Yeah. Because he was kind of a cocky guy and like thought he could do no wrong, basically, right? He had that NHL 7 years in the league, like making 10 times 8, you know, and feeling like this was his world. Well, his world came crashing and burning in the end of season 1, and that was a tough scene, but love to see him bounce back. And I think that's what we're gonna see for most of these characters who have their own demons. Like I said, Amel had a tough season, but I think bounce back next season. Santos redemption coming. And Garcia, no redemption though. I think she's like just the worst, honestly.
Yeah. And I think it's funny that she's a surgeon. Like, they made her a surgeon. Like, typically they're not the nicest. I also think that was by design. So that was funny to me.
Yeah, maybe like think you're better, kind of. Yeah. And it's funny, like her dynamic with Langdon is like they chirp one another, but at the end of the day, when Santos and Langdon had a few little snippy comments. Garcia was siding with Langdon a few times in the season, actually.
Yeah.
So I actually kind of like those moments from Garcia in that it shows, like, yeah, I'm kind of just chirping everybody, but at the end of the day, like, she does have a sense of right and wrong, and, like, does back up Langdon. I like those moments anyways. Like, you feel bad for Santos at the same time, sure. But I also feel like Santos is a little too much when it comes to Langdon. But you understand her point of view as well. Like, that's the great thing about this show.
Yeah, very it's very relatable. Not if even if you're on the medical field, you bring it to your place of work, Eric, or mine. Like, we have personalities like this. Andy, you touched on, like, surgeons. Like, we get a lot of surgeons coming from upstairs to the ER or the ED, and they kind of have strong personalities. Is that the case in real life? Like, do they think they're better than everyone? I know you just touched on it, but, like, was that pretty accurate?
Yeah, I used to work on the surgical floor, so I used to deal with a lot of surgeons. Yeah, I don't know. They weren't the friendliest. They're, kind of dry, maybe rude. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then it's like
Fair
when
enough.
I moved to dialysis, now I'm dealing with nephrologists, so, like, kidney doctors. And I'm like, oh my god, they're so nice. And it's not until then that I realized, like, oh yeah, surgeons are so mean. Because that was just, like, the first doctors I'd ever really kind of dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
That's fair.
So you get all sides of the coins in this show, and, like, the different personality types that I feel like maybe you kind of have to have if you're in that field. Maybe, I don't know, maybe kindness always reigns supreme, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with sick people, like, you should be kind.
Agreed. Let's not justify that kind of behavior. Scratch that from the record, folks. But yeah, so go ahead, Matt.
It must be think about the environment or the field they chose. You're dealing with life and death. Everyone deals with it differently, and you see this in this show, like humor or being super direct and kind of like shutting your emotions, or going home and, like, completely, like, switching to home mode and not thinking about work. I'm sure they all deal with it differently, and then we see some of it in the show, which I love. Like, I could never work in the medical field. Like, I know I can't handle that stuff. Like, I'd be fainting every 2 minutes. It's fun. It's not fun. It's great TV, and it's entertaining to watch how they all deal with this. And we see how Robbie's dealt with patient after patient dying throughout the years, and he says it's leeching part of my soul every time. Like, that's super emotional to hear that. And I don't know how year after year they do this. I know, like, I bet you some people, it's not for them, and right away they change fields. I know paramedics have a high turnover rate for that reason, because you see stuff that's never going to leave your brain. That's what would upset me the most. I would see things that would never leave my brain for the rest of my life. And, like, it could be just like seeing a baby being abandoned, like baby Jane Doe. Like, that to me is very upsetting. Or it could be something gory gory. So I much respect to you, Andy, and everyone who works in that industry, because I can't do that. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, do you feel like they represented that well, in that does it get a little easier with time the more you get experience seeing different cases, or is it harder, or how
I
would you
think for most people, I don't know, I'm going to say for myself, you kind of get desensitized a little bit. Like, once you see it more and more. I'm assuming that's kind of how it is for most people. It's probably hard at first, and then you kind of get stronger, have better coping mechanisms.
And one of the things that touch on throughout the show that you've dealt with as well is just death that comes a part of working in a hospital, and then the difficulty of communication with the family as well. Yeah. Like, how hard is that? Yeah. And how does that kind of go about?
Yeah, I find for me, death with young people is hard. Like, that's when I'm like, oh man, that sucks. Like, we have a lot of still fairly young people that pass away, not necessarily right in front of our eyes, but there are patients, right? So we see them regularly, and then they stop coming, right? Or they've passed away. So that part is hard. I find it, if they're young, it really, like, it hits me. I'm like, whoa. But I find that maybe when they're a little bit older, I'm just like, oh well, hopefully they lived a good life, you know.
That's fair.
Yeah. And yeah, making the call, I've done it only once when I worked on surgery, and the death was like, c'était attendu.
Expected.
Yeah, it was expected. But anyway, I still had to call the family member. And the family member was also expecting it, but she was still shocked at the same time, was crying on the phone, like, what do I do now? I don't know. It's like, I don't think that's something that really ever gets easier, right? Making that phone call. That's kind of like, truly the ickiest part of the job is like breaking the news to somebody.
Yeah, that must be so hard.
Yeah. Part of the job, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, and they show it, they don't spare us from any of it on the show as well, right? So.
And when I made that phone call, it was COVID, so it was kind of like, okay, well, you know, are you going to come see the body? Because we got to ship it to the morgue because, you know, the ER is full and we need to fill that bed, you know? That's kind of like...
Just click a machine,
obviously,
basically.
I was more respectful than that, but, like, in the gist of it, I remember I called her, it was night shift at 5 a.m., and I was like, kind of like, can you come in the next hour? You know, you're getting pressure from administration to fill beds, right? So...
Right.
And get the body to the morgue. So anyways, that's a whole other can of worms, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. We see it in the show, the pressure from administration is like the surveys there, the patient satisfaction surveys. So I can just imagine, like, everybody who works there, there's like, this is the last thing on my mind. Like, we're barely treading through water, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And in the show, one of the main deaths, like, just to stay on this topic, there is the character we were introduced to in season 1, which is Louis, right? The alcoholic, who I think he fell in a similar situation where, like, they kind of needed to clear, or no, he was just in the display room.
Yeah, so he had liver cirrhosis, alcohol abuse. He was getting paracentesis there, where you have a lot of liquid in your abdomen. Anyways, they were draining that. He clearly was a frequent flyer, so they really got to know him over the time. So that was a tough death for them. Honestly, that one I think choked me up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
me too.
It's
Same.
so easy to judge, right? Because, you know, as this season 1's going on, you're like, oh yeah, you know, just this alcoholic, can't figure it out, like, can't get sober, blah, blah, blah. But then at the end, you find out that after he's passed, that it's because his daughter and his wife passed away tragically and suddenly in a car accident, and that's why he resorted to alcohol to cope.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a full-on, again, reminder to not judge people because you have no idea what they're going through in life. Good life lesson that you do unfortunately sometimes learn the hard way, like something bad has to happen for you to recognize that, I find. So there's a lot of good messaging around these harder themes in this show.
But yeah, it was nice. Like, they had a moment of silence for him, and like they do for all of their patients that pass in the EP. So.
Yeah, and that one for us meant more because we had seen Louis a few times. Like, we got to know him a little bit as well, to an extremely minimal degree compared to the cast, the characters in this world, right? But no, me too. Like, I was one of the emotional moments of the series for sure. Like, there's quite a few times I was tearing up watching the show, and they do a great job hitting you in the feels with everything, really. Any other themes, like, on because they touch on so much, like I said earlier, we could be here all night going over all of them, but what's another one that you guys, Matt, anything that you had singled in terms of something that stood out to you as a theme in healthcare?
I mean, you guys just teed it up for me perfectly. Like, the other highlight of the show is people like Louis, the patients. Like, we get to know there's so many patients in this show, and some, they're one and done in the episode, they get treated, they're gone. Some of them stay 3-4 episodes, some of them longer. And getting to know the patients, to me, is one of the things I like watching in the show, and it's some of my favorite scenes. Learning, like, what crazy thing they did to get, like, their injury, if it's an injury, or if they have, like, a long illness. It's like I learned a lot, like just hearing the patients talk and hearing the human side of the story, you know, about their family and stuff. And sometimes the whole family was there. There was an arc in season 2 with the mom dying of cancer, maybe leukemia, but that was very sad, extremely sad. Like her 2 boys there, that was emotional. Sometimes the patients are the comedy of the show, like someone doing a stupid accident. That was like, you know, there's a bit of humor relief there. The Dr. Mohan arc with the Latino patient, I forget his name. I have it on my tongue, but like Orlando. Yeah, like he ended up coming back, right, guys? Like he didn't listen to her really. He came back and it got even worse. Like that was sad. Like they touch a lot about the finances, right? Like if you don't have insurance, it's gonna kill you in costs. So like that's one of the themes, is showing compassion for the patients and understanding, like beneath the surface, sometimes there's more to it than just, oh, he's an alcoholic or she's just doing something stupid. Like there's other stuff there. They humanize the patients. They're not just numbers and in and out. Like I'm watching ER, a lot of it, there's a way less attention to the patients. They're in and out so fast, and you jump to like 20 patients per episode. This, we get to know our patients more, and I think that's a strong asset of the show.
Yeah, I really like all the patients, all the cases. I find they're quite realistic, right? With Orlando,
right?
It's, you know, obviously more in the U.S. than here, but it was like an increase in medical debt, right? They don't have a universal health care, so he's accumulating medical debt, and he doesn't want to stay because he's going to keep like he's going to get in more and more debt, and these are services that he can't afford. And so for him, he's like, well, I'm just going to leave AMA, which is against medical advice. And look what happens. Sometimes it really costs them their life. There's another kid that we saw at the end of season 2 where the insurance wasn't covering his puffer, and then he came in with the asthma attack. So that's another season. It's just like, healthcare is a basic human right. Like, how do we get here? Like, why are we trying? You know what I mean? Like, you need universal healthcare. Like, privatizing healthcare is not the way to go, people. I was
gonna say it if you didn't. That was gonna be my line too.
Doug Ford there, like Goomba trying to privatize healthcare. Hate that. Anyways.
No, for real though, and it makes you so appreciative that that's not how it is in Canada, right? That whatever is to happen, you hope that's not the case there, but you can go to the hospital and not have to worry about these exorbitant fees you're gonna have to pay just like to have your life potentially saved, right? It really makes you appreciate that a lot in Canada. That's how it is.
And that's the thing, right? When you're sick, that's a big enough stress in your life. You don't need to worry about money on top of it. Like, there's no way to live.
That'll only possibly cause more health problems if you're stressing on the care, the cost for the care that I need, otherwise I'll die. This is costing me 10 G's an hour out here, that kind of thing. You don't need those additional problems. So, no, they really make a point of getting into that in the show in both seasons. And then the cuts as well to the hospital, and that they're understaffed. Like, that's a relatable. We're going through that
right now, cuts. So.
I feel like season 1, Robbie was really for the nurses and kept saying like hire more nurses. I feel like he was saying that every episode in season 1. That is what led to the hiring of one nurse, Emma. So they really got it done there. But and actually, I just want to throw out another call. I think Nurse Emma in season 3 is going to be a beast, as in she's going to be like a strong character, where we saw her be a little more on the apprehensive side and unsure, and she was thrown into the fire, like having to do all kinds of things on day one. Yeah. But as her shift kept going along, she even got told to go home by Dana, and she said, like, no, I want to stay. And I'm like, all right, there we go. I knew I called. That was the right call to make. I called that before I saw that episode. But she's going to have more spunk and I think be more confident in season 3 and know how to handle situations. She might knock someone out, who knows? A bonus call. But she's like, yo, I learned from the Dana school of hard knocks out here. But anyways, we'll see about that. But no, I like it. Like that they touched on those difficulties in the healthcare system. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's a good call, Eric. before we can jump into calls for season 3, or do we want to? Yeah, let's jump into calls. I hope season 3 for myself. I hope season 3, like, there's a more of a passage of time, like maybe like 2 years maybe down the road, and of course it's gonna be a hectic. Of course, it's gonna be a hectic day again, because that's how you make the season. Like, that's how you make them stay. Like, I like having them stay an extra 3 hours or an extra 2 hours to see the night shift come in. And shout out to the night shift, Dr. Shen, Dr. Abbott, Dr. Ellis. Like, they're awesome. I love the actor who plays Dr. Abbott. He's always a great actor, a great performance. He's cool. Anyways, I want to see again the night shift come in for something. And I want it 2, 3 years down the road, because I want to see our characters that were medical students in season 1, like, take charge and now be teachers to the new medical students, which I would love to see. But honestly, for this show, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep doing what you're doing, and then have maybe story arcs with Langdon, like the main doctors, Langdon, Robbie, and all of them. But keep showing, give me more of the cases. I love, there's nothing I love more than trauma incoming, Man versus Car or Gotcha or GWS, or like, I love seeing stuff come in and off a helicopter even, and knowing what they're gonna do. That's what I'm kind of watching here right now. It's feeling like it's feeding my fix of like seeing cases getting resolved and like people getting better. I don't know. So far, I'm not bored by the show. So give me more of the same, basically, and develop the characters further. That's all I really want.
Yeah, all good stuff to look forward to. Matt, Andy, what about you? Anything you'd like to see in particular for season 3?
Yeah, I think it's realistic to have some of the doctors kind of move on, especially their students and some residents maybe that realize that ED is not for them. So yeah, definitely the introduction of new characters, like we talked about earlier. Maybe a night shift episode with completely new characters. Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I love the cases. That's what makes the show, honestly. The patients, right?
Yeah.
So more of that. They can't go wrong.
Yeah. I would say, in terms of the night shift crew, give us more Dr. Ellis. She was great. Like, just super cool. Always like, relax, King, you're fine.
Yeah.
The deposition went well. Like, she's great.
Yeah.
Big fan. And yeah, Abbott already said I'm a big fan of him as well. And our guy Matt from Shrinking, Sean from
That's
Dr.
right.
Anderson. As soon as I heard his voice, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's him. And then they showed the back of his head. I'm like, yep, that's our guy. He was great. Wow. Super cool as well. It's funny seeing him in this kind of role where obviously in Shrinking, not the sharpest tool in the shed, let's say. No disrespect to the man, but he's not bilaterally making sure someone's bilaterally stable here. But in this show, he's got it down. So night shift, I would love to see a night shift dominated season. Something I want to see in, let's say, season 3. Give us a 12-hour shift and give us 3 hours of after dark, after shift action. Like, I loved seeing them even just on the roof. Like, just taking in the fireworks. That was a tiny scene. Them, Santos and King in the karaoke. Like, I love that stuff.
That was fun.
Yeah, so...
Do we want to see more of that? Do we want to see more, outside of the ER stuff?
Oh, yeah. Give me outside of the ER. I think you still do the standard shift, but then 3 episodes of outside, I think. Okay. Because this
I don't know about 3 episodes. I don't know.
Like, that's too much? You just want one episode? I don't know. It's tough, right? Because that would... it would still just be an hour, really, but I think it'd be cool. Like, I want to see what these people get up to outside in their lives. Like, we've heard about what they get up to and, like, what their plans are, but it'd be... Like, I want to see Whitaker rolling a bale of hay with Amy and and little Tucker just taking it all in on the side. But, yeah, that'd be cool to see some... That's my wish list, is I would like to see some outside of the pit. Maybe just go to the bar and just slam a few beers back. See where I could see Javadi is just an ace at the dartboard. It's just a prodigy in many ways. But so yeah, that's something I want to see. I want to see in season 3 Langdon, Robbie, and maybe even Langdon, Santos. If it's not buddy, maybe there's just an understanding of, you know what, we're chill. Our relationship has changed. I'm talking now Santos, Langdon, where he was really on her in season 1, like criticizing her. And in season 2, she was kind of criticizing him and not giving him a chance to be this new version of himself. So maybe season 3, that's what it is now. It's like Draco Malfoy and Harry Potter at the end of the Deathly Hallows. They nod at each other at the platform, and that's it. We're not best friends. We're not enemies either. That's kind of what I want to see there.
I would like to see that. That's a good call, Eric. I would like to see that. And Andy, I agree with you. Maybe only one episode of After Hours, because I feel like the Pitt was built off, we're trimming the fat. We're only showing you them at work, because all these other shows like ER, Grey's Anatomy, Chicago Med, like all the medical shows, they show outside of work constantly. And maybe Noah Wiley's like, all right, let's just show in the Pitt. It's called the Pitt. We're showing them in the ER the whole time, or in the ED the whole time. And we got like the park scene at the end of season 1, which was great to see them pounding a beer after work. Like that was awesome. I could taste that beer for them. And like the fireworks in season 2, but maybe seeing a little bit more would be cool, because we love these characters. Now we want to see what they do outside of work just for a tiny bit. But yeah, I don't know if you show too much, does that break the show's, like, what the strength of the show? I'm not sure I have the answer.
So we split the difference, 2 episodes outside the Pitt, and I feel like that could work.
There you go.
But
there you go.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what's to come. I honestly feel like we just scratched the surface in terms of the cases and everything they touch on in the show. But I think that's a sign of how good this show is that there are all these themes that they do touch on, and like they even looked at the effects of COVID and how that's affected care and changed the landscape a little bit. They had ICE agents come in. It's very topical, I find.
Oh, and yeah, very topical. Like things that are happening right here, right now in the present. You're like, oh wow, they're on top of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that could be uncomfortable for some people, maybe, but we love seeing it represented, and it's nice to see that they don't shy away from any of that. Like I love that they really get into it all. What's going on in society in general.
Even just, it makes me think of the one storyline where they didn't place the leads for the EKG on the woman properly because they were afraid of like moving her breast out of the side, and Dr. Robbie was just like, come on, like women are clinically underdiagnosed for MIs, like just called out the paramedics in front of everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is also very topical, because it is true that sometimes heart attacks go undiagnosed or underdiagnosed for women for that exact reason.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, they don't shy. I mean, that approach was definitely maybe questionable in like giving it to them in front of everybody, but you know, everybody's got to hear it, right? So. You gotta. Those are the nice. Well, even though he embarrassed those 2 paramedics, those are the nice Robbie moments that we like to see on there. But no, that's great stuff.
But a lot of relevancy to today's, like without making it the main focus, it's there, and I appreciate that too. I think it's great, and I'm glad they have little details like that, Andy, that you can catch right away and be like, yeah, that happens in real life. Like that would go over my head. But you know right away, like the show has a lot of attention to detail, and you just highlighted that, so that's awesome.
It's really fun watching this show with Andy, where like they might name like a few of the symptoms that a patient is experiencing. They're trying to figure like, oh, what's wrong with her? Andy's like, it's this. And then like a few seconds, they're like, okay, it's this. I don't have an example off the top, but it's fun to see. Yeah, it's good stuff. But just trying to think. I feel like there's other stuff that I would want to see.
Do we see Dr. Alashimi back?
Oh yes, okay, there we go.
Oh my god,
that's crazy. They didn't even touch on her. Like,
yeah.
So that just goes to show how much is.
Great point.
She was an interesting character. Yeah.
Okay, you brought it up, Matt. What are your thoughts on Alashimi? You go get the ball rolling there.
At first, I thought she was a little cold, but I ended up liking her more and more the more I found out about her. I thought the actress did a great job. Kind of the reveal we have of like what her condition is, it's like kind of like, whoa, like is she even fit to work? And that's what Robbie's wondering too. What I liked about her is she was smart and a little cold, but like had no problem putting her her maybe ego aside and like agreeing with what was right. Like she would say good job when that person did a good job, or agree with Robbie when she needed to. But she's very like pushy on the AI stuff and like doing everything quicker and seeing more patients and not necessarily thinking about like the human aspect. She's maybe more robotic than the other people. But no, I ended up not minding her character at all. And some pretty intense scenes with Robbie in the last few episodes, like when he finds out her diagnosis and she tells him, and at the end, like when she's driving away, like to me, I don't think we'll see her in season 3. It's like a one and done.
Okay.
Andy, what are your guys' thoughts?
What are you thinking?
I agree with you. I think she got better as the season went on. I think she was very, very by the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which was, to me, I don't, by the book people, it's like, you know?
Yeah.
I don't vibe with by the book people. So, yeah, it was kind of like, okay. But, you know what? She got more comfortable and loosened up as the season went on. I think she did give some leeway and did agree and did kind of meet people halfway, which was nice. When she was disclosing her seizure condition, like I was not expecting that at all. She was...
I feel like you called it. You're like, she's talking about herself right now.
No, I know when she did finally, that part, but when she was spacing out, like I didn't catch that she had a medical condition.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that kind of took me out of sorry. Okay.
No.
That kind of came out of left field for me. But yeah, I don't know where we go from here with her. It's at the end when she's in the car and she stops and she's crying, you know, she obviously comes to the realization that she needs to disclose her condition and that her future in this ED is in jeopardy.
Yeah, that was my take on it too. I feel like her breaking down in the car, then she drives away, but then stops I thought it was I'm not fit to work here kind of thing. I've had 2 seizures in this day, first time in 6 months I even have one. And my whole pride has been like, I can drive my own car. Okay, but does that mean I can fly an F1 plane, which is the Pitt? No. And I think she'll be back because she's an interesting character in the sense that me too, at the start, was not a fan at all. She's the anti-Rabinovich, if anything. And
right.
But she did get better. So I don't think you devote this much character development to her to just kind of have it be that. Her realizing I can't work here anymore, I'm out of here now. I think we see her, but in a different role. I think she's not going to be an attending how she would have liked to be, but maybe oversees and offers up some sort of counseling or guidance. If that's feasible, really. Like I know we're talking about there's not enough funding for nursing, but let's bring her on as a consultant. And I don't know if it makes a whole lot of sense, but I feel like her character will be there, just not how she maybe would like her to be.
Yeah.
I think like there's a path forward there because we spent so much time with her. She can't just be a one and done and goes out unceremoniously like that, really. Where she did seem like she could have been a great fit there, right? Despite her, I didn't know what her spacing out was about either at all.
Yeah.
I thought maybe there was something to do with the baby Jane Doe, like she was maybe had been abandoned as a child. Like that's kind of a theory I feel like we had, but yeah, Alashimi, interesting. And she was, I don't know, I guess that's it really on her. It's just hilarious how one of the biggest new additions, and we just forgot to talk about her till like an hour and some change in.
But this illustrates the strength of the show of multitude of great characters. This show is a multitude of great characters. We see how each and every one of them is dealing with work and life's problems, basically. And there's stuff outside of work. There's stuff with the patients. We see so many different ways of dealing with it illustrated through these characters. And that's why the show is great to me. Everyone does it a different way. Everyone reacts to it a different way. Just our 3 medical students are totally different. The way they do their the way they interact at their job and do their job, this is why I love the show. The variety, we have so much variety here. Variety of cases, variety of patients, variety of how these doctors do their jobs, struggle with it, and at the end persevere and are successful, which at the end of the day, this show puts a smile on my face, because most of the time they save the patient, and it's a happy result, happy ending. Like I love seeing them save lives. I never watched a medical show before this, so it's a great feeling to watch, honestly. And like when they know they did a great job and that person got saved, it's awesome. It's an awesome feeling. And this is just me watching it on TV.
Yeah, it's definitely rewarding. Like it's a big important job, and especially everyone there is dedicated years to studying and hard work and clinicals and all that to get there. So
yeah, and it was nice to see too Whitaker just being so excited to get his first paycheck after all these years of working, not being paid and just studying and being in med school and everything there. So doing his residency, so that was cool. I like that, the reward for the years of grinding. Now, and another thing too, which I feel like, I don't know about how they do it in the ER show, Matt, but I feel like in this show, it's the opposite of Suits, in that in every episode, if this was done like Suits, Robbie would be swooping in and saving the day. No one would die, but in this show, tons of patients die. So it's way more realistic in that regard as well. And I appreciate that Game of Thrones style, nobody's safe out here. And that makes for much more compelling and interesting TV. So
like the one guy who died in the waiting room.
Yeah,
and they're just kind of trying to cover it up. They're like, "Come on, Gramps."
Is this dude dead? Like, no.
Nope.
But that also touches on the really long wait times and sometimes that happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like you wait so long that you may end up dying as long as you're gonna end up waiting, so that's how long it might take for you to see somebody, which is, again, like they showed us the waiting room every time. Like there was never a lull there, really. There's always some action, and
and if you pay attention, like some people in the waiting room show up later in like as a patient, right? Like they do snippets and they're showing the waiting room. So that's cool.
Yeah, agreed.
Well said.
Oh man, this show, we could just keep going. I feel like this would have been a good episode to do a draft of characters. I mean, we could now if we wanted to, but maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe after season 3?
Yeah, there we go. The draft season 3. We'll start making files on all these characters and seeing where everyone goes. But no.
I can see the show going 7 or 8 seasons. Honestly, like it's compelling.
Yeah. There's no big special effects really either. The budget's probably relatively simple, and this format is what makes this so unique. And another thing, so you mentioned this at the start, Matt, and I wanted to make sure it doesn't go unsaid. The difference for us too, watching season 1 and season 2, it was easier to retain stuff and pick up on things binging it. Waiting week to week, it was so easy to miss these details and not make connections. So I feel like maybe when season 3 rolls around, I don't know if we'd be better served to just wait for it to all come out and then watch it at that point. Because, like, what was your enjoyment level of the season? Did you find that you preferred season 1 to 2 or kind of the same? Well, what did you find the viewing experience like for you, Andy?
Yeah, I probably like season 1 a little more. Probably just because of the newness factor.
Yeah.
Just like the format, it was so new and different, like nothing I'd ever really seen before. I didn't really watch 24, so I was like, whoa. It really caught my attention. And then season 2, obviously a lot of the same but different. So I don't know. Yeah.
Did you find that binging it was also a factor or not really? For like how we watched it?
For me, not really. I know they have the recaps at the beginning, so that helped me remember what had happened in the previous episodes.
Okay. But yeah, Matt, I think you had said that it was kind of like I said earlier there. But did you prefer season 1 or 2 actually? Did you have a season that you liked more? Or?
I preferred season 1, not only because I binged it, but because it was fresh and new. And season 2, I kind of knew what to expect. And I think I liked the storyline more in season 1 with the mass shooting and the mass casualties coming in, like that whole triaging thing they had to do. I thought that was cooler than the cyber attack in season 2.
Right.
And season 3, I'm gonna literally wait till they all. I'm gonna be patient and wait till they all come out and binge it, because that is the way to watch it. Just like their shift, try to like marathon it in a couple, 2-3 days, maybe in a week, you know. So I'm definitely going to be patient and wait till they all come out.
Yeah, we might have to end up doing the same thing too, because I don't know. I honestly don't know which season I preferred. I like them both a lot. Maybe season 1 had the higher highs, I'll say, in that the end of the season overall had a lot of really, really good episodes in season 1. With that Langdon Robbie confrontation was a moment for sure. Like you could feel the emotion there, the disappointment of the father to the promised son, the prince who's supposed to be the heir. Like that was a powerful moment. And then Robbie losing his stepson's girlfriend, like doing everything he could. Like that was a heartbreaking moment. And then Robbie breaking down. Yeah, I think season 1 was probably slightly better, but that's not to scoff at season 2. I mean, we know this is ending up on the top 10, Matt. Who are we kidding here? I already made Night of the Seven Kingdoms my number 1 show. I might have to rejig some stuff already, so we'll see. But no, great. 2 for 2 so far. Now I pray this doesn't go down the path of the Mandalorian and give us an absolute jackassery of a season 3. But that's a conversation for 2027. But yeah, anything else that you guys want to chime in on in terms of the Pitt? Andy, anything that you feel we didn't go over that you want to discuss?
No, not really.
Okay, so comprehensive. Matt, what about you? Before we get into a few random recommendations, of course.
I think I've said enough. Like people know my thoughts on the show. We've talked a lot. We could talk a lot more, but we've said all the major highlights. Watching ER, the Pitt took the best part of ER and made it its focus and all its attention on it. You know, like ER is the blueprint, and then Noah Wiley's like, let's concentrate just on the good stuff and just have that. And I think he struck gold with the Pitt. It's a great show. Entertaining. I'm never bored watching the show. That's why I love it so much. It's very compelling for me, and I'm never bored for a second. So it's a great show, and I recommend it for everyone. And if it's not in my top 5 TV shows, that means we've had a great year in television, which I'm hoping for. So yeah. What about you, Eric?
Yeah, same here. Honestly, it's so good. I would say even if you're not a medical TV show person,
it's worth a watch.
Worth a watch.
Give it a chance.
Oh yeah.
And it's not. I don't find it's overly graphic personally. I'm used to seeing gore in movies and TV shows, but for some reason, seeing medical gore grosses me out more. I'm not a needle guy myself. Andy knows this, but seeing stuff like this in the Pit does not bother me as much for some reason. I don't find it's that bad. Maybe I'm off, but.
There's still like the C-section. I don't know if you guys remember.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was pretty gross.
Brutal.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Brutal.
Okay, that's correct. It's not like you don't see anything gross, of course, but I don't know. I don't find it's that bad overall. I don't know.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah, that is good. A growth maybe. Who knows? Maybe it is nasty, and I'm just stomaching it a little better.
Maybe you're ready for a needle.
Well, one thing at a time. But yeah, I know Andy. You get to speaking of early bird shift coming up and random recommendations. Did you want to recommend anything, or is this where you leave us? Or?
Yeah, I'm gonna bow out.
Okay, so well, no, thank you very. Not just getting off the hook that easy, but Andy absolutely killed it on here. Super, super happy to have you come on and discuss the Pit with us. I had a lot of fun hearing you talk about your experience and just insight on the show. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. This was so fun. Great episode.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. I was hoping you were coming on because you're the expert, and thank you for coming, Andy.
My pleasure.
Big time.
Okay.
Crushed it.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Thanks a lot, Andy. Killed it on here. A lot of fun. Now we're going to get into some more lighthearted stuff, some random recommendations. Matt, anything that you've been watching, listening to, taking in that you wanted to share with the people?
Yeah, I did watch a really great movie, Hamnet. I watched Hamnet. It's on Amazon Prime. I recommend it, Eric. It's great. It's a beautiful movie, and the performances, like Jessie Buckley, 100% deserved her Oscar last year. She's phenomenal. So she plays. The movie's about the wife of William Shakespeare, Agnes, or Anne Hathaway, that's her full name. But in the movie, she's Agnes, and it's about her and her kids and Shakespeare doing his own thing, but it really focuses on her character, and tragic events happen in the movie, and it's her reactions to it all, and it's about how she deals with it. And I just want to say this, the character study of her in this movie it's amazing. Like, just watch it for acting performance, guys. And the last 30 minutes, my jaw was on the floor in terms of like how emotional it was, and it was very sad but touching at the same time with the score and everything. I don't know. I just want to say that Hamnet is a beautiful movie that's emotional in a good way. It's like movie. It's why I watch movies. It's like movie magic, basically, where you're seeing these actors and you're like, oh, they're just hitting every beat, and it's beautiful to look at. And I don't know. I was left with a big smile on my face, even though it was a sad movie. So that's Hamnet. From 2025. I wish I'd watched it. It would have made my list last year.
Yeah,
I wish I watched it sooner.
I saw the rating on Letterboxd, 4.5. That's lofty praise. Chloe Zhao directed, so she did 2 movies I'm not a huge fan of, Eternals and Nomadland, but the latter one, did it not win Best Picture, Nomadland?
It
so
did.
Chloe Zhao is a force in cinema, and I know Hamnet was one that was really well received and great performances in there as well. Paul Mescal in there. So I feel like he also did do a good job as well. It wasn't just the Jesse Buckley show. Yeah. So no, I'm definitely looking forward to checking that out. I know it's on Prime Video, so we'll be giving that a spin. When I get back into the movies, for me, it's been a little bit of a while since I've watched one because I've been watching something else that I'm going to recommend now, Matt. And well, our good friend, former guest on the pod, actually, Curtis, he knows I'm all about this right now. I've done what I said I wouldn't do, and I've gone ahead and started One Piece, the anime.
Wow.
And man, so what I ended up doing, Matt, I did not start from the beginning. I basically went in, jump point, start off from where season 2 live action ended, and I went straight into, I've seen all of season 3. One Piece live action, and it's going to be the best season of the show so far. No questions asked. Season 3, One Piece, buckle up. That's all I'm going to say on that front. But for the show itself, the anime, this is not something that I'm necessarily recommending to everyone in that it's a commit. 1,156 episodes. Who in God's name has that much free time on their hands? Apparently me. But it's a big ask to get into, and it may not be for everyone, right? It's anime, and where I'm at right now, I will say it's quite childish. What I heard is that later on it gets to become a little more adult as the animation studio has changed a few times along the way. And this looks dated. Like, this is from early 2000s where I'm at right now. But it's really cool to see what the characters look like in the show, the anime, I mean, how they behave. And there are a lot of, while I say it's childish, then they get into some really serious and thought-provoking dialogue and powerful moments where, like, it has me hooked. And yeah, no, I'm a big fan. It's fun to see. Because I watched the live action first and then anime, I find that I like a lot of the live action portrayals more than the anime characters because, again, I'm seeing these like tropes of, for example, Nami, damsel in distress, often. Just a weaker character where I'm used to seeing her be a badass. I'm like, that's not Nami. Like, why is she running away from these Baroque works freaks? In the show, she would have fought them. Usopp is an absolute muppet in the anime. Can't stand him. Sanji and Zoro, I think they're still cool, but I just like the actors who play them. But what I will say is Monkey D. Luffy is a goddamn legend in the anime. Like, he's all time, and I can't wait to see some of these moments that he'll have in the live action, hopefully, that I've seen in the anime. And I guess I'll say it again. Crocodile is the man. I can't wait to see this character in season 3. So there's good stuff, Matt. You should be excited for season 3. And anime, if you want to do what I did and just hop on at the Alabasta storyline, I would recommend. And I don't even know if I'm going to watch this whole anime. Like I said, I'm slowing down on a lot of other shows to watch this right now, but I'm enjoying it. So One Piece anime, I like it. I understand it's not for everybody. But I did want to just tell the pod that I've seen it and watching it so that when we do our One Piece live action next time, I'll be coming at it from a different lens and being able to compare anime to live action.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the live action season 3 now that you've seen the anime, because that's obviously going to influence it. I'm not going to lie. I went on Netflix and I looked at the episode list and like how everything is sectioned off in like the Alabasta story. Like it, but there's so many episodes, and was I tempted to click on it? Maybe a little bit, but man, I've been focused on so many other shows right now. Like I'm between the NHL playoffs, the baseball. I put movies are on the back burner for me too, Eric. Like I watch maybe a movie a week now because I'm watching all these other great shows. So far, like Daredevil, Born Again, super good so far. I'm on like 6 episodes deep as of today, April 24th. Maul's Shadow Lord, it's great so far. There's like 5-6 episodes out. A show I did finish on Netflix. It's a limited series, Big Mistakes. I don't know if I brought it up.
No.
But it's the show with Dan Levy from Schitt's Creek, Eugene Levy's son. Dan Levy, not Levi, Dan Levy. The show reminds me of Beef. It's basically a Beef, but maybe a little lighter. But it's one thing that leads to another, and it orchestrates a sequence of events that's so absurd between his character and his sister's character. They get involved with crime, basically. So that's 8 episodes, half an hour long. If you need something light-hearted and funny to watch, but also a little dark, Big Mistakes on Netflix is the show for you. It was entertaining. But yeah, other than that, just watching my weekly show. I want to get into The Boys. Haven't started that yet, but I'll wait till it's all out because that's the last season. Same with Shrinking. I got 1 episode to go on season 3. Not gonna lie, like season 3 is my least favorite out of the 3 so far. I don't know why. It's just, are you on season 3 too, Eric?
I'll tell you exactly why it's the least favorite season. These characters are annoying as hell, I find. Like, I honestly dislike the majority of these characters now. Liz, Gabby, Brian, even Harrison Ford's kind of annoying, in all honesty. I can't stand the majority of these characters. I've ranted about this show quite a few times over the last few weeks, I'll say. I don't know if I have another rant in me, to be honest, but yeah, it just doesn't have that sauce anymore. There's only a handful of characters I actually care about, and I just find everyone's too unrealistic. They're all up in each other's business to the nth degree. I don't like it. I'm going to finish the season. I agree with you. I think, honestly, Derek, Jimmy, and Alice are the only characters I actually like at this point. And that's when you've got a show with about 12 characters and I only like 25% of them, that's not a good sign. When Charlie, who is in 3 episodes, is one of the best characters, we have a problem here. So, anyways, yeah, Shrinking, it's not what it used to be. Still going to finish it and tune into season 4 to see how it wraps up. But yeah, step back, I would say as well. But,
okay, good. I'm glad I'm not alone in that. Yeah. But that's what I've been watching so far. Like I said, a lot of sports right now. So that's it for my recommendations.
Nice. I'll just recommend a book that I finished. I read this relatively quickly. It was a page turn, I'll say. Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I think this is a somewhat popular book these days in that I think I've seen it on Insta, which is why I put a hold on it at the library, and was a page turner. So just in a nutshell, it's about this man who goes out to get groceries one night and is abducted, and then realizes that the life he once lived is not what it is anymore. Like, things change in the blink of an eye in one night, and he is fighting for his life to regain the life that he once had. So there's a sci-fi element to this book. I'm not going to reveal exactly what that is, but it's definitely a thriller. We got our character from pretty early on. He's on the run. He's in an environment that he finds himself threatened in and is just trying to get reunited with his wife and son. So sci-fi component, thriller, good characters, fast pace, always something going on. I was pretty hooked from the start. I will say there was maybe a little section in the middle where I felt it was dipping off, but it ended well. So I did like, ultimately, the beginning, the end, and the majority of the middle. So I definitely recommend this, comfortably thinking that this isn't one that you'll be bored by, and it'll have you thinking for sure. So Dark Matter, Blake Crouch is the author. It's good stuff.
That sounds perfect for my next book, because
in the tail end of Death's End, the Third Body Problems, Third Body Problems book.
Nice.
And yes, it's not fast paced. It's interesting, but it's not fast paced. So
true.
I'll need a palate cleanser after this trilogy. So
Nice.
Dark Matter sounds actually pretty good. Yeah.
All right, good stuff. But yeah, that's all I got really on this end. Like, it's been all one piece for me. No great albums these days, I find, either. I'm running oldies at this point. So
Yeah.
Blue in Exile,
Same
of
here.
course, just dropped, but that's something for another time. Yeah, so no, a lot of fun, Matt, with you as well, discussing the Pitt. Any final notes for the listeners?
Just thank you everybody for listening. And Eric, I loved hearing you talk about the show. Hearing you and Andy talk about the show was awesome. This has been one of my favorite episodes.
Nice.
Just talking about this show. I thought this episode flew by, and we could have said more, but we said I think we all said a lot of great things, to be honest, and dissecting the show. And everybody, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. And have a great, hopefully you have a great spring and then summer coming up.
Well said, Matt. So thanks a lot, everybody, for listening. Stay tuned for episodes dropping every 2 Mondays. Continue to enjoy the spring. Golf season is about to start. Hopefully Sens have lived to fight another day by the time this drops. And peace.